Hi, Sean here from the Trusted Agent Podcast, and thank you for joining us on today's show, where each week we talk to experts both inside the industry and outside the real estate industry to gain their unique perspectives on what they believe real estate agents can do to build their credibility, efficiencies, and connections with others. A huge shout out to our sponsor, Rezo Real Estate Sales Online, who's absolutely revolutionizing how real estate agents deal with prospective buyers and vendors. Their online platform that manages the offers and acceptance process is simple, easy to use, giving time back to the agents so they can do what they do best. All right, so stick with me and let's see who today's guest on the show is. Hi, everyone. Sean here, and thank you for joining us on the Trusted Agent Podcast. And today we have Brady with us. Hi, Brady. How are you today?
Hi, Sean. I'm well, thanks. And yourself?
Very well. Thanks so much for jumping on the show today. For those who don't know, Brady is the director of Brady Marks Buyers Advisory. And when I first thought about putting the list together, I thought of Brady because I thought it'd be an interesting perspective on to share her journey and also what she believes builds better credibility and trust for agents. So Brady, for those people that don't know you personally, could you share a little bit about yourself and your history within the industry?
Sure. So prior to becoming a buyer's agent, I was a selling agent for about 7 years. I then decided to become a buyer's agent. Now, I'm sure you're going to ask me this question, but I'm just going to say it anyway. The reason why I became a buyer's agent was because I always gravitated towards the buyers. It was very important for me when I was a selling agent to create these relationships. So it felt very comfortable for me to be able to jump ship and become a buyer's agent, feeling passionate about helping buyers, seeing their frustration, particularly over the last couple of years. It's just reinforced the importance of having a buyer's agent by your side.
Yeah, I can totally get that. And it is the path least traveled, isn't it? So most agents tend to go on the vendor side. So someone in the corner of the buyers, I can get that angle.
Yeah.
So you were a selling agent for 7 years, and how long have you been at Buyers Advisory for?
So I've been a buyer's advisor for close to 7 years now myself, if not more, even 8 years. Yes.
Oh my goodness. So half. You're seeing both sides of the camps.
Yes.
And what sort of advantages do you think that has given you in terms of being able to have been working on both sides?
So I understand both sides of the equation. I know from beginning to end how it works being a selling agent. So it gives my clients the confidence that I know the way a selling agent works in terms of the process. And then also when it comes to putting the deals together, I understand how to put certain things in the right process and the right flow. A lot of people have got great experience in terms of renovating homes or buying and selling multiple homes, but actually understanding the role of a selling agent when you become a buyer's agent, I think is imperative.
Yeah, I can imagine having those insights that would be really a card up your sleeve. Could I ask, what is it that is the main difference vendors are looking for from their selling agent versus buyers? What are they looking for from their buyer's agent?
So the vendors want the maximum price. Doesn't matter what, get me the most for my property. And a buyer's agent's role with the buyer, what the buyer's expectations are, not only to negotiate the best possible price. And let's face it, there's no bargains at the moment in the property market across Australia, let alone Sydney. But what they want to feel comfortable with knowing is that they're not overpaying, and they also want opportunities that may not be on market. So in other words, the off-market arena is a very, very, very big market at the moment, and it has been for a while. So buyers want to feel comfortable that when they sign a contract, they have been exposed to all opportunities.
Yeah, you're right. That how do people find out about the deals or houses that are available off market? What's your strategy in engaging with agents?
So there's lots of different ways, but I think the main way that people usually find found out about off markets. Now, bearing in mind, there's off markets and there's off markets. So quite often, if you are a buyer looking to purchase a property, you'll go to an open home, and then within a week, you'll receive an email from a selling agent saying off market. That property that you've been invited to is actually to the whole database for the selling agent. So that's one off market. And the other off market is a true off market, when us as buyers agents are speaking to selling agents and saying, we've got a buyer looking for X, Y, Z. What have you got? And if they don't actually truly have something, they go out and will create an opportunity. So in other words, go to past vendors who they've done appraisals with and say, there's a buyer who could potentially be interested in your home. And that is a home that has got no photos, no floor plan. The agent is signing an agreement to allow us access to the property. So that is a true off market. So from our perspective as buyers agents, what we do is we go and we never disclose the name of our clients, but we all give the brief either via an email or a phone call, in most cases both ways. And also on social media, we'll put out, we have a buyer with their brief for a particular area and budget. And also, the buying criteria for the property.
Okay, great. So it sounds like, on the Trusted Agent podcast, we talk about how agents can build stronger trust and credibility and connection with others. It sounds like you got a couple of audiences or key stakeholders that you need to build that trust and rapport with. You have selling agents, then you have your social media audience as well, and then you might even have direct. What are some of the strategies, without giving away your personal IP, but what are, for our listeners, what are some things that you think that they should take in consideration when dealing with, I guess, let's start with selling agents and then maybe social media?
Yeah. So from a vendor perspective, is that what you'd like me to talk about? From how?
Yeah.
Okay. So firstly, from a vendor perspective, I think it's important to feel comfortable with the agent and establish that they are being honest with you. So that from the minute you meet them, there's no sugarcoating. The agent is coming to you and saying, look, this is where I see your property, whether they like it or not, to be open to the truth about the value of their home. And I think the other thing is if it's a new agent, there's a new kid off the block, it's okay. Give them a bit of a chance. If they're open to you and honest and say, I haven't got a lot of experience, but I'm very keen and I'm very motivated and I want to do the right thing by you, I think be open to that, because a lot of young energy and very motivated newcomers, and it doesn't have to be a young agent, it could even be an agent in their 40s who's had a previous career that makes a fabulous selling agent, understand who they are. And if you've got the right vibe with them as a person, give them a go.
Yeah. I think if we look at it conversely, with what agents could or should be doing, if you're a seasoned agent and you have a wonderful wealth of experience in your local community that you can lean on, absolutely deliver that. Maybe if you're used to delivering in blunt force trauma, calm it back a bit, because for some vendors, they might be hearing the information that they weren't expecting. But if you have that experience, and the data to back it up, then really gives the grounding and can make it easier.
Absolutely.
And if you're a new agent, use that energy, use that positive attitude, say, I don't have any preconceived notions. I do have data and I have the hunger to go for it. That's excellent. I like that.
Yeah. Yes.
And with the social media, what do you think is important for you as a buyer's agent or a seller's agent in terms of building trust and credibility with, say, you're putting out there, we have a buyer, or any agent that's using social media? What are the things that you think is really important to portray that credibility for yourself?
I think being authentic, putting out information that is true to you as an agent and also about your company. Testimonials are fabulous. So client testimonials always tell a good story. Case studies. People love case studies. So it's just about letting people feel, oh my goodness, that sounds like me. I need this. I need this help. It's just really reaching out to people to give them the confidence that there is help out there, because that's what it is. It's not that people are not capable of negotiating and people are not capable of going on to realestate.com and domain and finding a property. It's about feeling confident that they can get the property that they want.
Yeah.
And feeling like there is a safety net, that someone is out there to help us.
Absolutely. Because it's the fear, right? It's the fear that for buyers, they're not sure if they're overpaying or they're lacking the guidance. They can certainly do some level of research, but this is ultimately where the value that agents bring is their
Correct.
experience.
I'm just going to jump in there and I'm going to add something, if that's okay.
Sure.
One of the other things that people don't realize, that a buyer's agent is not just there to negotiate or find a property. It's about making sure that the property that the client is purchasing is the right property, not only for them, but in that area, and also that there's no surprises. So, for example, prior to us exchanging contracts, we will check pending DAs with the council to make sure that there's no massive apartment block that's going to be built up in the next 6 to 12 months next to the house. It's doing all the background research as well, so that once the client, again, as I said before, signs a contract, they feel comfortable, because it's a big decision for them and it's a lot of money, that they haven't made a mistake and they have done all of the due diligence that's necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. That's because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
You talked a bit about testimonials before. When I jumped on your website and I was having a look at some of your previous stories, you have a great list of testimonials that obviously shows the value that you can bring to buyers. There's one that stood out for me in particular. It was the St. Ives property.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that family and the circumstance and how you're able to help them?
Yes, so that was a lovely young couple. They'd recently had a child and were extremely frustrated. Every single Saturday, went to look at properties, put in offers, just felt like they were getting nowhere. They were about to throw the towel in, and then somebody referred them to us. And within 2 weeks of engaging with us, we found them a property, which honestly, when we first presented the property to them, they said, oh, it's going to go way over, because what was happening is a property would have a guide and then it would sell for 200,000-300,000, if not more, above that guide. And we said to them, just come and have a look at the property and we will discuss the price with the agent. And they fell in love with the property. It was totally different to what they thought, because originally they wanted to buy something which they could just move into and not add value. And I think that was also part of the problem, is that those properties are more expensive. Yeah. When we showed them the value of finding something that they can put their own touch on, like changing the kitchen and painting and various cosmetic renovations, not major renovations, they said, wow, you know what, this makes sense. And it made them very comfortable with going ahead and signing a contract and buying this particular property. But it didn't stop there. We helped them also in terms of tradespeople, so that they felt comfortable with, the people that we referred to them. Quite often people don't embark on doing any cosmetic work because they don't know where to begin.
Yeah, I like that advice in how reframing perhaps what they're looking for, instead of this one image they have in mind. How about you buy a house and make it a home, make it yours?
Yes,
that's great.
Yeah. That's it. That's exactly right. And quite often our clients buy something completely different to what they tell us in the beginning, what they're looking for, to what they end up buying. And it's like, wow, we never knew we could get this.
I remember when I first started in sales, and it was very early in the beginning. It was 20 years ago, I think. And my sales mentor at the time, and I've had quite a few in all different degrees of different types of mentors, and this one was a bit of the hard-hitting one. He goes, your clients don't know what they want. It's your job to tell them what they want. But sometimes that's true.
Yes.
It's not about guiding them down the right path. It's just that sometimes they're not really clear about what's truly important to them.
Exactly. And when I used to do a lot of public speaking a couple of years ago as a buyer's agent, I said to the audience, I intimately get to know my clients. I mean, I don't literally do, but I have to understand what their needs are. Because if I don't understand what their needs are, how am I going to find the right property for them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. So if I could ask you, with wearing both hats, As on this podcast, we're all about helping agents.
Yes.
Whatever side you're on. What is the common advice that you would give to agent on either side in terms of what they should do to build greater credibility, connection, or trust or organization?
Yeah. So I think, again, I'm going to go back to what I said before, being authentic and don't sugarcoat anything. You don't want to buy the listing. You want to go in and exceed expectations. So in other words, you want to go in and you want to give a range. So as a selling agent, if you want to win the business, as they say, you want to go in and you want to give a range, and you want to say that the vendor's property is worth between $1 million to 1.2 million. You don't want to go in and give a definite figure, and you want to say to them that if there is more, we will absolutely get you more. But if from the beginning you are very upfront with where you feel the property is going to be, and not go in there and think, okay, well, I have to get this listing, so I'm going to tell them what they want to hear. I think quite often a lot of agents lose business that way. So it's better to, and sometimes it's better to lose the listing to another agent, and then the vendor will come back to you and say, you know what, you were spot on. Our property is clearly not worth that figure, so we'd like to give you the chance of selling our house. And 9 times out of 10, that agent will sell the house very quickly.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. And you also touched on this before. Even if you don't have all the runs on the board, go in with some evidence of what you have sold. So instead of saying, you know, well, I sold this and I sold that, and I'm picking up this listing, vendors don't want to hear that. They just want to see what you've done and how you're going to market my home, and they want to feel the energy. They also don't want to hear sales talk. They want to hear real stories.
Yeah. I've got 6 tips there. I'm madly scribbling. That's excellent. And so I'm just authentic. Don't sugarcoat it.
Yes.
Give them a range, not so wide. It's between 600,000 to 2.2. I'm pretty sure. Use data, testimonials, and case studies to give that credibility and evidence, I suppose. Show them the plan. What's your plan, the marketing plan and the structure? Don't wing it. I think they're looking for that stability and strength, and bring a positive energy or just energy to that relationship as well.
Yeah, I think positive energy is always great. People love that because it's contagious.
It is infectious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, you have a philosophy about sorry, I'm just trying to think of the word. Is it buyer for life or
client for life?
Client for life.
Yes.
Can you walk me through that philosophy?
Yes. So even in the early days of when I started real estate, so just to backtrack, I came from a corporate environment into real estate, which was a big shock. I have to say, it's a totally different industry. And the way I approached the industry was that it's important for me to build up long-term relationships with people that I meet. So when I met a potential vendor, it was about making sure that my customer service was 6-star, because I never knew when I'd meet them again. And that's exactly the way I've built my career and I've built my business. So client for life means it's not about just getting the deal done. It's about making them feel important and having confidence and faith that I could sell their house and get them the right price for it. And then on the flip side, becoming a buyer's agent is making them feel comfortable that I don't just want to sign them up as a buyer and never see them again. I want to be able to be on their property journey with them. And you know, there could be months when I don't speak to a client, it could be even years, but when we pick up and we reconnect, it's almost as if we're great friends. There is just that mutual friendship and mutual trust. And I love working with my clients. I absolutely love seeing them. And again, you know, fee is very important because everybody's got to live and make a living. But if you've got, you know, as your main objective to do the right thing by a client, you will have a client for life. Yeah. And I want my clients to refer me to their friends and family. And that is my philosophy.
And I think it's brilliant philosophy, and if you can find that balance, it's mutually rewarding for everyone. I sometimes find that some agents actually put themselves at risk where they do all the hard work. They become an active member in their community. They talk with their friends and family and get their name out there, and they attend all the barbecues and social events. But sometimes they overstep into that friend zone a little bit too much, where
Yes.
They forget to ask for the business or check in. And for some agents, it's really hard because they don't want to overstep, and they don't have that balance right. Do you have any tips for salespeople that could find themselves in that situation? Have you yourself been in that situation?
I haven't been in that situation because I've always been cautious of there's always a fine line of not having the expectation. So I think the tip there is to have the rapport, because you have to have rapport, but not expect, and to then ask. And when I say ask for the business, it's about saying, is it okay if I contact you in a few days' time, as opposed to I will contact you in a few days' time to get the agreement signed. I think it's just about stepping back and in a nice way, but a confident way, making them feel that there's a bit of respect.
Yeah, I think that's the important word, is the respect. And if you can, touch base with those people and just letting them know that you're thinking of them, you have their best interests at heart. I've seen some agents where really get their friends and family offside because they've decided to go with another agent and I've never actually considered you. It's like, why didn't you call me for that? I would have been perfect. Why do you think I've invested so much time in this? It's like, whoa. But it's more, hey, Bill, how's everything going? And, remember, if you ever need any help, advice, or anything, I'm always here for you. You can bounce ideas off.
That's it. That's exactly right. And there've been lots of times along my journey and my career path where I haven't got business from family and friends, but I've helped them. And that goes a long way, because they've then said to someone who I don't know, reach out to Brady. She'll be the right person to help you. So it's not always about winning the business. It's about doing the right thing. And another very interesting tip and point to make is that there are 20 touch points before a person becomes a client. So in other words, you might meet them as a selling agent, you might meet them at an open home. Then you call them as a follow-up to see if they're interested in the property or not. Then you send them an email. And by the time they become a vendor or a client, you work out it's actually 20 times or up to 20 times.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, many sales people across all industries can forget that. And in one of my industries, when I was managing a sales team, I interviewed them when I joined the team. I said, how long does it take you to find a new client or to convert that client from first time to meeting them to getting them on board? And when I interviewed all the individuals, they're all saying the same thing: a year. And then I put two and two together and I said, because your call cycle for new business, you're touching base once a month. They said, yeah. So it's 12 touch points. It's not a year. Let's do an exercise. Let's, for the next 12 weeks, touch base with them every week and see what happens. We never signed more business in a 3-month period than we did in that point. Yeah. So it's not about setting a call cycle and just, thinking that's the norm. Sometimes you got to challenge what you're doing and ramp it up.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's good. All right, excellent. Brady, I know that you're so passionate about your business and your team and what you're doing, and you don't have a whole lot of time to go out there, but would you be open to, if anyone's looking for advice on becoming a buyer's advocate or perhaps even joining you, and certainly if any buyers are out there looking for business, how can they reach you and find you?
So the best way would be to go to our website, which is www.bradymarks.com.au, and they can arrange go onto Calendly and book a consultation time with me, which is complimentary. So we can have a quick chat, or they can call my mobile number, which is 0414 805 305. And I welcome people to reach out to me.
Good. How good's Calendly? I've only just recently.
Fantastic.
I've only recently just discovered it, and it's changed my life.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Excellent. Brady, thank you so much for your time. You've been a wonderful guest, and I really appreciate you sharing your insights. And I've loved spending time with you today.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed talking to you too.
All right. Thank you, listeners. Reach out to Brady if you have any questions. And thank you for joining us today on The Trusted Agent. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. All the best.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.